Very simply, Michael Cohen is lying, and he's trying to get a reduced sentence for things that have nothing to do with me.
That's more from President Trump outside the White House today, reacting to the news that his former attorney, Michael Cohen, has cut a new plea deal in the Mueller investigation. Cohen pleading guilty this morning to lying to Congress about a Trump Organization real estate project in Moscow. Here is Michael Cohen leaving the federal courthouse in New York City a few hours ago. Let's bring in Fox News senior judicial analyst Andrew Napolitano. So we saw from the video it happened. What happened, Judge?
Well, apparently Michael Cohen and his lawyers have been negotiating, not with Bob Mueller, but with federal prosecutors here in New York City for, as the president said, a reduced sentence in return for something. We don't know what the something is. So he pleaded guilty to lying to Senate investigators about who he saw in Moscow and what he went there for and what he said to them. The president says this is about a hotel project he was going to build, which he seriously contemplated building and on which he changed his mind, and has nothing whatsoever to do with the campaign or with his presidency. We don't know what Michael Cohen told the prosecutors in return for them agreeing to a reduced sentence. We may find that out. We may never find it out.
Judge, is the president right when he says that in the lead up to the election, he could do whatever he wanted in terms of business dealings, just like any other business person?
Yes, he's quite correct. So we really don't know what Michael Cohen told prosecutors he was in Moscow for. He was ostensibly in Moscow on a perfectly legitimate business deal, the building of Trump Tower in Moscow, which never happened.
If it's perfectly legitimate, why would he lie about... Oh, you're shaking your head. I see this.
Yeah, I mean, who knows why he would lie? He told a federal judge this morning the reason he lied was to stay on political message, whatever that means. I guess he is saying today that at the time he lied, he thought he would help the president by lying. Obviously, that is not the case.
Judge, I mean, the question of the day so far, since we've heard this, and we've heard Catherine Herridge ask it as well, is how does this materially change what has happened, any case someone would have against the president if Cohen lied about the timing of when they were talking about this building deal that we all knew about, or he lied about the extent to which someone was going to travel, who was going to travel? Did we have in-depth discussions about possibly traveling, or did we not really talk about someone possibly traveling to do a meeting on the deal? How would that materially impact something that could be conceived as illegal?
I wish I knew. I wish I had knowledge of what Bob Mueller and the prosecutors here in New York City have, Melissa, but obviously we don't. But typically, when a person is given a very good deal, and the president is right, he got a serious reduction in exposure to jail time, it's for what they have already told the prosecutors. We don't know what he's already told the prosecutors. But I will tell you this, the easiest charge for the government to prove is conspiracy, because conspiracy is an agreement to do something wrong, even if the something wrong never happened. So was Michael Cohen's trip to Moscow part of some agreement or series of agreements to do something wrong for the campaign? I mean, if that's the case, then we would have to hear or see what Michael Cohen told the prosecutors. Whatever it was enough to get them to ask a judge to lower his jail time exposure considerably.
All right, Anton Seawright is on fire to ask a question right now. Anton?
Judge, do you really think that at this point in the investigation that somehow or another the special prosecutor is going in the wrong direction? Because that seems to be the temperature from the right. We need to shut this down. This has nothing to do with anything. Do you really think he's going in the wrong direction at the rate he's going?
Not at this stage of the game, Antoine. I happen to agree with you,
Thank you, sir.
On that. I will also say, and I understand the impatience that a lot of my friends and colleagues have been expected, but having been involved in these cases, not obviously one involving the president, Prosecutors don't always get evidence in an orderly fashion, and they don't always get evidence from credible people. Michael Cohen, the president's right, is not a credible person. He has twice pleaded guilty to crimes of deception, bank fraud, and lying to congressional investigators.
Judge, it's Kennedy. That was my question I have for you. How does special counsel decide what aspects of Michael Cohen's story to believe, or any of these witnesses, when they know that they have lied?
Great question. When they can corroborate what he told them. Just like they're using what Paul Manafort...
They can corroborate the lies?
Corroborate whatever he told them in return for the reduced sentence. Just as Paul Manafort gave them some information, we don't know what, but they'd never put him on the stand because he's an inveterate liar. They will use whatever Manafort told them and whatever Cohen told them that they're able to corroborate through other witnesses or forensic evidence like emails or phone calls or text messages.
But crazy. Judge,
Okay.
is any of that information usable if Michael Cohen's a liar and not credible?
If you back it up,
Well,
it is.
My suggestion is that what the prosecutors are trying to prove is a conspiracy. And a conspiracy is a series of agreements. Now, series of agreements means a number of jigsaw puzzles. I'm going to guess that Michael Cohen gave them a few pieces in one of the jigsaw puzzles, and he gave it to them before this morning, or they wouldn't have entered that agreement.
Okay.
What those pieces were, we don't know, and we may not know, Lisa, until this stuff is laid out by Bob Mueller.
All right. Thank you. President Trump